This is American First Patriot Podcast, where we're always right, never left. We put God first and politics second. I'm your host, Chauncey Brown. My co-host, veteran patriot, Mr. Tomassi, is in queue. I hope everybody is doing well. I know that everybody is overwhelmed by news reports from all over the world coming in all different directions. We don't know what the truth is and what the lie is. But let me bring in my co-host, Jarrod Tomassi. Good evening, sir. How are you?
Good evening, sir.
It's good to talk to you.
What's up, brother?
Love you, man. I love you. Things
are
crazy.
How's things
I love
going?
you. Now, everything's going good. Now they're talking about that Putin is trying to send a hit squad to kill Lewinsky or whatever. How do you pronounce his name? Lewinsky? Vlad, how do you pronounce the Ukraine president's last name?
I'm just called President of Ukraine. I don't offend no one.
You know, that sounds like the American way to say it. You know, is the
right,
president of Ukraine. You know, how's the family? I hear you. How was church today?
Oh, dude, I'm in Arizona doing my paramedic refresher.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah. But they did good. They had fun. I just talked to them this evening, and what was I going to say? My son, he was accepted into the National Honor Society.
God bless.
So Junior Honor Society. So I'm really excited about that.
God bless, man. That's good. You know, that those are blessings that God gives us, and we have to take care of them and nourish them, you know. And it's a shame what this country is doing to our children. We're trying to do to our children. Thank God that we have God-fearing parents that stand up and push back against this false narrative of critical race theory and homosexuality and transgender and all this other stuff that all of a sudden all these other identities that are not even in the Bible come out. But like you said last week, I don't care what you do. Just don't impose your will upon me. You know, and I think that most conservatives feel that way. You know, we don't care what you do. Do what you do. But why you got to, advertise? You know, I don't run around advertising I'm a heterosexual or let's start the heterosexual first movement. I mean, come on. I mean, it's pathetic, you know?
Yeah, you got to be honest about yourself. Like, just like you said, well, one, you can be anything, do anything you want. But this is a country of liberties, right? And so we appreciate that freedom. But you cannot. But liberty becomes jeopardized when you say, "I must believe this. I must accept this. I must." Becomes actually the opposite of inclusion. It becomes, an opposite of diversity. It becomes adverse. It becomes non-inclusive because it can't go in one direction. Inclusion doesn't mean, the white male must accept everything. No, inclusion means I accept you, you accept me, but that's how it's been. So I don't know what's changed.
It's interesting while we're having this conversation. Biden fan by any stretch of the imagination. But the same people that we're talking about on the left will allow President Biden to get up there and say, I'm going to nominate a black woman, the first black woman, to the highest court in the land, violating the 1904 Civil Rights Act, discriminating against all males, all other women of color, all whites. Now, that is racist. And they throw it right up there in our faces, and then the mainstream media celebrates it like it's some kind of historic event. Yet if we stand up for truth, I'm a racist or I'm a homophobe or I'm whatever name they want to attach to me. I don't know. There's they don't have any more truth. Their truth is so far removed from reality that it's scary, actually.
Yeah, it's actually, to me, it's the opposite of what they're saying. And I'm saying this again. you cannot say, I'm going to hire, the next person I'm going to hire is a white male. That's
exactly.
You can't say that. You can't.
That's
say,
what we've been fighting against in this country, allegedly.
That's what the whole point of inclusion is to say, I'm going to put my biases aside and hire the best candidate, but I'm never going to make a choice based off of race, gender, religion, politics. And if it happens to be a white guy, good. A white woman, good. A black woman, good. Mexican lady, good. But when you start to say, I'm going to do this, you just blew up your own narrative. They're blowing up their own narrative because it erases every other female race in the world. It erases every other male race in the world. It erases males from that narrative. So how is that inclusive? It's not inclusive. And matter of fact, if we look at – yeah, go ahead, Bubba.
No, I'm sorry. No, it's my fault. Go ahead. There's a little delay.
No, I was just going to say, like, if you really looked at, like, the proportion of races in society, we have to really be careful to make sure that that's the proportion we see. Because this isn't a white-black thing. It's not.
But it's not. Most people can care less. You traveled. I traveled. How many times listen, I'm going to tell you something. The only time that I've ever felt racism and discrimination in my life that was direct and overt, I'm in my own city in Paterson, New Jersey, driving a fire truck. And this white man looks up and says, and I apologize to my white friends, but I only could preface it the way it was. He says, look at that. The end's driving. It's the only time in my whole life. You know, the guy, I understand he was short of a Happy Meal, had some intellectual challenges, maybe some mental health issues. Was I a little upset? Yes, I was. Did I stop and get out of the truck? No, I didn't. Did I want to? Yes.
Yeah.
But the captain held me back. But I mean, racism to me is ignorance. That's all it is. It's a lack of understanding. It's a lack of knowledge. And what else is I say to people that have emotional challenges, emotions are displaced intellectual thoughts. And we talked about this the other night about LinkedIn, how people will get all their emotions over a meme. I didn't make the meme. I didn't create the meme. I just shared the meme.
Yeah, and you can just keep on moving. That's the thing.
Exactly. Who says I have to own it? I got to buy it.
It's too much. People are expecting way too much. You cannot create a set of rules to conquer another set of rules. You have to just teach morals and values and respect again. That's it. You can't say you must hire this race until you meet the number. It will not work. That is not how you fix a root cause of anything. You're putting a Band-Aid on it. They talk about guns, confiscating guns because a kid grabs their parent's gun and it's, they blame it on the weapon, which is the oldest, silliest narrative in the book, right? But the kids on, Adderall and Ritalin and everything else because somehow that's okay. Well, why don't we start fixing the kids' mental health issues? And maybe they won't shoot people. I personally, man, I really do think that there is a narrative, an agenda, and that's why it's so confusing. There is an agenda. There's an absolute agenda. It's not a conspiracy. They say, I was a conspiracy theorist. No, I'm just a theorist. Like, I'm watching it happen, and we're not fixing anything.
I think the bottom line here is that there's a spiritual warfare going on between God and Satan, and this is the result of what's bearing out on earth. Like the Bible says, these times have to come before I return. So, but those who believe in me will not, no harm shall come to them. I'm paraphrasing. But those of us that believe are seeing the truth more clearly and trying to open the eyes of other people.
Mm-hmm.
And that's we are our brother's keeper. You know, we know that God is love. We love God, and we want to please God, and we're going to do whatever we can to help save our brothers and sisters.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but like you said, it's sad. It's sad how the left has indoctrinated communism, socialism, this programmatic ideology, identity politics mantra to drive people's emotions and fears to get them to respond to their will. And that's not only immoral, it's unethical, you know, and the consequences are going to be grave. And we're seeing it fall out. It's going to happen. You know, if we don't have a civil war in this country, I'm going to be very surprised. But the ironic thing is how the media, how Congress took January 6th and tried to take it completely out of proportion compared to Antifa, Black Lives Matter, burning cities down, billions of dollars in damages. But all they want to talk about is January 6th, nationalists, white supremacists. I mean, really? Really?
Yeah, dude.
Really?
It's terrible.
I mean, come on. Come on, really? Exactly. You know, Black Lives Matter and Antifa has caused more damage over the past several years of burning down communities, looting, robbing, than that one day at January 6th. And if anyone lost on January 6th, it was the people.
Yeah, exactly.
We lost Alicia Babbitt, a veteran, shot by a government officer who got away free for murdering Alicia Babbitt, a veteran. But that's okay.
Yeah.
But let a white cop shoot a black kid who's a criminal. Oh, my goodness, now it's national news. He's a racist. But you can't call the black guy that shot Alicia Abbott a racist because it goes against their narrative. Because right is right and wrong is wrong. It's not about color. And it's a shame.
It's not.
It's a shame that these people use that as a weapon, you know, because it undermines Martin Luther King's message. And then every year these hypocrites get up for Black History Month. For what? You don't do shit the day after and the rest of the year. Whether it's the Christian pastors or all you black elected officials on the left talking about, you know, defund the police, social justice. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
I mean, it's ridiculous. Yeah. It is really ridiculous. Yeah. And it really pisses me off as a 15-year-old man growing up under Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, looking at the civil rights movement, looking at what happened when we just came out of Jim Crow. This is not racism.